with, talks are Man United and Chelsea could be about to offer Brentford a loan with an obligation to buy for Ivan Toney. Henry, how good would that be for either Chelsea or Man United season ahead?
I think for Chelsea, I think what they do need a number 9. Whether that's going to be Osimhen, whether that's going to be Toney, is yet to be seen. Man United, obviously, they haven't got Højlund for another 7 weeks or so. We've got Joshua Zirkzee there. If I'm being brutally honest, I think obviously he'd probably be better suited going to Chelsea, but I just think Chelsea will probably get Osimhen, or they'll do their absolute most to get him over the line towards the end of the window. Lukaku wants to reignite with Conte at Napoli. But look, it's a great signing. He's Premier League proven. He will score lots of goals in both sides. Both sides create lots of chances. Chelsea with Neto, Palmer, and Toney would be a fantastic front three, and Kunku in just behind. Man United, you've got Bruno, you've got Garnacho, you've got Diallo, Rashford. I think he suits both teams in both systems, but I probably think he's more likely to join Chelsea personally because Man United have already got 2 strikers. Did you say it was a loan with an obligation to buy?
Yes, that is what the reports are saying, that it will be a loan with an obligation to buy.
Yeah, then makes a lot of sense for Chelsea. I think that's probably where, if he's going to leave Brentford, that's where he'll end up.
I mean, Xerxes called himself a 9.5, so there's still room for another 9, and then just a little 9.5 in there. I just look at if you're Chelsea
Hang
right
on,
now.
you ain't sitting there making those digs when you whoppers at Liverpool used to call Firmino the defensive striker.
Yeah,
come on now when it comes to weird things footballers say or get called.
Roberto Firmino scored 11 goals in one Champions League campaign, so I can.
But you called him the defensive striker. He's a defensive striker. That's not weird names. Anyway, crack on, Tom.
Yeah, we called Firmino that. He didn't call himself that.
He did. But anyway, carry on.
If you're Chelsea and you've got the option of Toney or Osimhen, I think you go for Osimhen. Younger. He's got more relevant experience for what Chelsea want to do. Ultimately, he's a player who's fully into that project by all intents and purposes, with what the media say, with John Obi Mikel and Drogba talking to him, and you've got the chance there to get rid of Lukaku in the same way. It's going to cost more than what it'll cost for Toney, but you pay the price for quality. I think United, the issue is they've got strikers, but I do think that having the Premier League experience of Toney, I don't think he'll ever hit 20 goals again in a season. But if he can give you double figures, I think United could really benefit from that. I think United's the better move for him, and I think for Chelsea,
he'll get 20 goals again.
I don't think so. No,
not in that Chelsea side. The amount of chances they create.
No, I think he get close, but only
on penalties. He'll get 7 or 8 at least.
He's not on penalties, mate.
He wouldn't be taking pens, would he?
Well, okay. If he goes Man United, he'll probably be on penalties.
Over Bruno, get out.
You think Bruno Fernandes has given up penalties?
The guy's one of the best penalty takers in the world.
Henry,
Bruno.
What you've got to understand
by far.
At these top clubs, ego takes pens.
Henry's having a mare, mate. Henry is having a mare.
He doesn't even look at the ball, and he just knows it's
Henry,
in the back of the net.
Just stick to going, oh my God, please.
Egos take pens at these top clubs. So Cole Palmer's not giving up pens, and Bruno Fernandes isn't giving up pens. So Toney's then loses them goals. I just think it makes more sense for him to go to United and for Chelsea to do everything they can to get that Osimhen deal over the line. Because for Chelsea, I can't. Who's the other player that they potentially giving away? That Italian midfielder, Casadei. Yeah, if you can get him and Lukaku out and get Osimhen in and put like 50 million up front at the same time, I think that's a real smart piece of business. So I don't see why. I don't see why Toney's really being considered for Chelsea at this point.
I think. Do you know what the thing is with Chelsea? You say that he's better suited for Osimhen's better suited for Chelsea. That's probably right, but there's more risk in that. Can Chelsea take much more? Can Chelsea take risks? I think Man United can take a risk more than Chelsea. Obviously, if you get Osimhen, the fans are all going to be happy with that, and he'll probably do well. But I think with what they need right now, I feel like Toney would not be a bad shout for them at all. obviously, if you ask every fan from Chelsea, I think like every fan, David can answer, is going to say Osimhen over Toney. But they kind of need maybe a bit of experience and a bit of Premier League experience in that team this season, like to maybe get them to maybe a Champions League spot or to battle for the Champions League spot.
This is my point with it, though. Everyone says Toney brings the experience. And I'll always say, is it relevant experience? Toney's experience that he brings is mid-table in the Premier League. He doesn't have the experience of getting a team to Europe. And neither does Osimhen, but Osimhen's got experience of winning titles in another league, getting Champions League in another league. Which are you going to back more so to translate? Is it going to be another league to the Premier League, or moving from a smaller club where you're the big fish to a bigger club where you're now a smaller fish?
With certain players, I agree. With Toney and the way he has his arrogance, I don't think that going to a bigger club will really phase him. I think his arrogance, which is not a bad thing, by the way, but his arrogance as in his ability he'll believe that that's his level. He done well for England as well on a big stage. I hear what you're saying, and once again, Osimhen could probably come in. Osimhen's ceiling for them is higher, much higher. But I think if you're getting them both in, you know that the floor of Toney is decent enough to get you at least 20 goals in the league, maybe a bit under without penalties.
I don't think it is, but that's me personally.
Yes, that's the thing.
I wouldn't say that's Toney's floor either. I think Toney's floor is about 7-8
Tony's
goals.
floor is I'm gonna take the 9 at Chelsea and look like every 9 that's been at Chelsea. That's what Tony's floor is, because whoever puts on that shirt can't score a goal for their life, right? Osimhen, I'm still, you know what the thing is, I don't think he's as good as everyone says he is, but my options are Osimhen Osimhen, get rid of Lukaku and get rid of Cassidy. I really like Cassidy, but if he's got to go, he's got to go. Or I take Toney. And to be honest, Toney is someone who will be at this club for a season and a half, and in 18 months, everyone will look and be like, why is he here? He needs to go. Because the squad, hopefully, by then, would have progressed past him. So do I want to spend 40? Well, I'm not sure how a loan with obligation is going to buy. He's got 1 year in his contract. But anyway, I'm not someone who deals with that. But it's like 40 mil.
That's a great point. To be fair. I'm only reading the news report, but maybe he's we've seen this a lot in the last few years. Maybe he's got one of those contracts that Brentford could extend by a year.
Yeah,
we don't know about. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, a loan with an obligation of 30 mil. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is what it is.
Are you asking Terry where they're going to end up, or who's the better signing?
Well, I mean, a bit of both, really. I think we can expand the conversation. So for me, like I look at it, and I'll throw it back out to you and Kate, but I think he'd be great for both teams. I hope Man United do go and sign him. I think, look, the more the merrier. Yes, we've got Rasmus. Yes, we've got Xerxes. Xerxes can play a couple of roles. So can Toney. I think there's a world where they can both be involved. And fuck it, create survival of the fittest. Remember that scene, the Joker in The Dark Knight, where he breaks the pool cue and says we're recruiting. He says, but we've only got one spot. Fight it. I'm not suggesting Ten Hag should have them kill each other with a pool cue, but metaphorically speaking, metaphorically, that is what we should be doing and saying, right, boys, there's essentially one starting spot. There's 3 of you. There's one person that's going to come on in. And you've got to remember as well, there's 5 subs available per game in this day and age of football. And I think that plays a part when it comes to selling the idea to listen, I'd love him at Man United. I really, really would. I don't know whether it will happen. But I'd love him. I'd love him.
Didn't you promise Cheeto Obi Martin the third striker position?
Well, according to Fabrizio, we did. But again, I don't care about that, because if he's really that good, he's going to fight his way into the first team. This nonsense that you can't sign people because it blocks pathways. That is what weak people say. When in my career, my professional career, when I worked in banking and in sales, I didn't care if they employed new people with a great CV. I'd work harder to be better or as good. Anyone that goes, oh no, how am I going to get my sales targets? You need to sack that person instantly. They are bad for your business. They've got to go.
Let me say this though. Chelsea are going to get
Tinker and hooked at the door.
Chelsea are going to get Victor Osimhen simply because Napoli want Lukaku, and apparently they even want Kepa now. Apparently, I'm not sure if I remember correctly.
Kepa as well.
So you could have a situation where Chelsea could get like some sort of ridiculous swap deal, like an NBA trade type thing, where they sign multiple players. But Ivan Toney is now being slept on because of the situation where he had the gambling situation where he got banned for like almost a year. That has left a stain on him that has made a lot of teams stay away from him, in my opinion. It's not his footballing ability. It's not his ability to play with other people. But right now, I don't think he's going to any of our clubs is beneficial for him. I think if he went to West Ham, that would be the perfect place for him. Somewhere where they don't necessarily have the best forward striker position at the striker position, and he walks in and he's one of the main men right away. Where if he goes to Chelsea, he's never going to be the main man. He's never going to have the clout to be the main man. He goes to Man United right now. He can't step to Rashford or Bruno and tell them, I'm the guy taking the penalties, I'm the main man. Where if he goes to West Ham, I think that'd be better for him. Even
West Ham rejected him.
Haven't West Ham just signed that striker though from
they got Fulkrug. Yeah.
I have invested in him today, by the way, on Stocks FC. On